Okay, so first look at the Panzer after our Mondello action. Probably so far the most visual problem that we would have is that we pretty much totally destroyed the lower part of the bumper nose cone. So that's completely ripped off. We also lost some of the ducting down there for brake cooling and stuff like that. Here on the side, we have a little bit of a push in on the right side wing. The indicator is also destroyed, so not too good. That's become a little bit of a problem for me because it's quite a rare and expensive part. The good news from this side of it is I have sourced a new nose cone that's in the same colour from the UK. So I should have that in a few weeks' time. In here, I know the lighting's poor, but in here basically everything to do with the traction system's fine. The car starts and drives. This wheel has picked up some hay from the verges of Mondello Park. Apart from that, seems okay. The side of the car in general is good. You know, I didn't rip off the mirrors or put in the glass or bend the door. This quarter panel took a bit of a hit here. So that's going to need to be pulled out. This, my rather dodgy body filler repair here has packed up. So we're going to have to fix that properly. I'm going to take the side skirt off and see what's going on in there. I suspect with a bit of a hit there on that, but I think it's pretty straight. I don't think the chassis is taking a ding there, so we should be good. This tyre was completely off the rim, so I just pumped that up so I could drive the car in here. We're up on axle stands now, so I can get the wheels off and have a look in there and see what's going on. This wheel does look to be pushed back somewhat, so that's a bit worrying. In the boot, get you a bit better light, but the bar going between the two struts is bent here on this side. It didn't break away, but over here, to get all this junk out later on, I'll show you a better picture of this, but over here, yeah, we completely shoved the shock up through the body and snapped off the welds there, holding that in. Over on this side, with the car jacked up and the wheel just kind of hanging, it doesn't actually look too bad. And there's virtually nothing on this side of the car at all until we get up front, and obviously then the nose cone damage is pretty much the main thing. Now, other smaller thing that we've got going on is that we've got no 12 volt power on this side of the car for the windows or the door locks. So we're going to have a look at that. Might have blown a fuse or done something silly there. So. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get the wheels off and get some of those cables out of the boot, and we'll start seeing, hopefully a bit better, what's going on here. Alrighty, so wheels off on both sides, and my dodgy rust repair is getting exposed for the hack job that it is, so I'm going to have to get this fixed properly. But in terms of the suspension and the running gear back here, I don't find anything damaged. Even the shock itself here is probably okay, but I'm going to pull that out. My Tesla charging port came loose earlier during the day, and we had just cable tied it back up there, so I'm going to have to get that reinstalled in its proper place. Far side's pretty much the same. The drive unit, which for all people out there that thought it was going to be broken in bits, is perfectly fine. The car is driving, as I say, so I'm going to go ahead and pull out the shocks, and that'll let me swing those arms up and down a bit just to make sure there's nothing loose in there. And yeah, so I'm going to pull out the shocks and then we'll see what state they're in and take it from there. Alright, so good news story. I've pulled out the shocks and taken the springs off on both sides, and our shocks are working and there's nothing broken. I did manage to bend both the bottom and the top mounting bolts, but that's kind of to be expected. And doesn't seem to be anything untoward here on either side of the suspension. So the only thing I'm kind of, and it's kind of almost secondary to the crash, is I'm going to need to I'm going to need to get that rust repaired professionally, because the only thing that I'm worse at than track driving is bodywork. So right now, let's get in the boot here. So over here, on the left side, you can see here where we completely sprung the shock mount, and the cross beam here is completely sprung off the subframe. Over here on the right, we've pretty much bent it, but it's not sprung. So I've unbolted the DC-DC converter in there now. I'm going to start cutting out this bar, and I'm going to grab some steel today from my local steel shop, and we will be upgrading this to a 6mm wall from a 3mm wall box steel. So that's about the size of things back here now. Gonna pretty much, once I get this redone and welded back in, we should be able to drop the shocks back in with some fresh bolts and put some wheels on, and we should be back driving. Our wheels are kind of fairly bent out of shape, so I'm going to pull the tires off these two back wheels. The rims are scrap basically. Both of them have been warped by the bang, but I can put my normal wheels back on for now. Worry about set of rims for our track tires later. Probably also need to get these off too and get the grass out of them. So there's that. Probably won't whip off the nose cone until I get the new one. I'll just kind of re-secure the number plate and things like that, just until we're ready to fit the new one. So I want to be able to move the car around. So that's about the size of it, and we'll go from there. Alrighty folks, that is about where we're at with the Panzer at the minute. I'm going to get the repairs started off fairly soon. Trying to hunt down this electrical gremlin, stopping the windows working, and then we should be good to get the car moving again, and I can start looking at that rust repair. So thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. Been a particular lot of supportive messages from people following the posts I made about the crash. So we will see you next time. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and check the links in the description for my Patreon, PayPal and GitHub. So until then, happy crash repairing.